answer. Okay, they are only around 20 questions. Okay, well. Give me a phone. Well, first, good evening and thank you for receiving us today. So the first question is, what is your name?
My name is Helen Nonhoff. You want to I can spell it?
Yes,
It's yes, and then NONHOFF.
Okay. And what is this project about?
Projekt Lavesha is about right now to bring Syrian refugees to Mexico so they have access to higher education. So the program organizes travels, they pay for travel, the visa, everything, and if they're here, they also finance all the stay, they have scholarships, so they can have access to education.
And how does this project start?
It started with Ariane. He was in the Middle East, he worked for many years in the Middle East, and there he met refugees, obviously, and they talked about their futures and everything, and especially met one refugee and they talked a lot, and then he promised him to go back to Mexico and start this program to bring him to Mexico for the education.
Okay. What does Project Habesha means? The word.
Yes. It's okay. I think it's from Ethiopia or Eritrea. It was one of the villages, and it's one of the one group of people, and they were really nice at receiving refugees. People came from Aljan, and yeah, they were really welcoming.
Okay. Which is the country where the students come from, or why?
They are all right now. They are all Syrians. Because of this.
Okay. What are the main reasons for the students to come here to Mexico?
The access to higher education, because with that you have much more opportunities, and there they can't study because of the conflict.
How many students have come here to Mexico?
So far 17.
17?
Yes.
Okay. Where are the universities available for students, like the colleges?
Okay.
And where are they located?
Okay. I hope I remember everything because I don't know them.
It's okay.
But
it's okay.
In Mexico City, Ibero, in
Oh.
Monterrey, in yeah, I would have to look it up.
It's okay. Like I remember they told me also Querétaro, I think, in Guadalajara.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the difficulties that students face when they arrive to Mexico?
Okay. So the first and obvious one is language. So they all have to learn Spanish, but it's also about culture, that they have to adapt and have to get used to everything that is normal for you guys, not for me, I'm from Germany. And then finances, but Projekt Habesha does a lot, and with everything also Projekt Habesha helps them with that.
How did you have those finances?
They used to have mostly, or still mostly, donors, so different people, a lot of different people, they have different programs, like 100 per month or whatever, and then now they have also, they have funding from UNHCR, and they got funding from different organizations in the United States, but right now still most donors.
Okay. What is the contact that you have with the students, and what is your responsibility or work with them?
Okay, so well, obviously they live here, we work there, so they're very close. But they do, through all the years, they have counseling and they're in constant contact. There's one person, Christina, and she's in charge of like keeping in contact with them, whatever they need. And if they need someone to talk, she's always there. So it's support in many different ways, but also just to hang out and yeah, quite close relationship.
How did you arrive to this project?
Well, I'm from Germany and I study in Denmark, and my master is international relations and development with a specialization of global refugees. So I come here with an internship. I'm intern. So I just found the organization.
Okay. Does the government give any support to students?
No.
No?
What are the differences between men and women that apply?
I think right now there are 3 women, I think, of the 70, and they face different difficulties with culture and everything. But yeah, I don't know.
What aspects do you consider at selecting the students, or how do you choose them?
So they have to write a recommendation. They have to have a recommendation letter of either an organization of the university. They have to write a motivation letter, and then afterwards they have interviews with them, Skype interviews, and depending on that, on how they present themselves and everything, they select them.
What are the difficulties that they face inside the school environment?
I mean, I think it's just a lot that me or you and me in Germany, you hear as just common knowledge, like how to use the institution, what are the offers and everything that you kind of learn growing up and having friends. They don't really have that, and they don't have the supporting system you have and everything. So it's culture, but it's also the ability to kind of know the rules of the game.
Okay. How can people help this project? Like normal people?
Yeah. Well, first through donations, obviously. Money is always good. And then through talking about it in general, through supporting refugees, migrants. Yeah.
Where does the students stay when they arrive here to Aguascalientes?
In this house.
Here. What do you notice about how the students feel experiencing this?
I think it's hard for me to say because I'm not the person responsible for them. But I think they are, first of all, very happy to have this opportunity, but also it's difficult to adopt. I don't know.
Here in Mexico, what are the difference between the difficulties that women and men face?
In Mexico,
Yeah.
I think as far as I know, they're actually women feel much more freer here, and they're actually excited about that. But I don't know.
Only that. Okay. What are the reasons? What are the reasons for you to focus on higher education? Like for the student?
Yes, it's actually quite a new thing to focus on higher education around in the whole world. There are not many organizations focus on higher education, but it just opens a lot more opportunities. It's first of all to have opportunities for jobs and employing, but also to just have more critical thinking and all that as well. And there are a few programs for primary and secondary education, but they're really, really little for higher education, and it's really important, especially in Syria, because I think 70%, that might be wrong, so check that, but before the Syrian conflict started, of the youth had access to higher education, and then after conflict, now for this year it's 3% of all the refugees. So it's just a huge gap, and yeah.
What is the best part of this project?
I think for me, it's first of all how that they don't just give them scholarships, but they support him through everything, and that it's not just about that, but it's also about changing the image of refugees and yeah, just it's not just scholarships. It's a lot more solidarity and everything.
Okay. Can you tell us a little story about one of the students? Maybe?
A what story?
Like
Yeah,
a
I
story
have a story.
about one of the students, like the experience that
They
had.
have here in the project.
It's really hard for me to do that because I've been here for like 2 months.
Oh,
But yeah, I don't know. Would be better to let them tell stories.
Okay.
when exactly this project start in the year? What-
2015.
Oh, so this project is a new project.
It's a really new project. Yes, and for 1 year it was mostly just talking to people and blah blah blah. So yeah, it's a really new project.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's all.
That's it.
Thank you.